I did not think that, it wasn't my childhood dream to be a writer at all. There was no such thing where I grew up. In other words, there were writers, but nobody made a career out of it. Everybody did other things and then also did some writing. I know that there are examples of people like, for example, the most famous one, I suppose, would be Virginia Woolf, who apparently from the age of 10 years old said, I'm going to be a writer. And no doubt there are other people who have that. I didn't have anything like that. It was something that I grew into in my middle 20s, I suppose. No, I did not ever imagine that I would be awarded the Nobel Prize. I know what the Nobel Prize is. I've known what it was since I was a little schoolboy. And it never occurred to me that one day I would be awarded that. I guess there is this immediate few days, few weeks when everybody's interested and wanting to meet you. But the most incredible thing about the Nobel Prize is when you think of who else has been awarded this honor in the past, and you think, I'm also now included amongst this community. Yes, it was very difficult to find a publisher. It's always difficult to find a publisher, for most people anyway. It was, I suppose, particularly difficult because I think the things that I was writing about at the time that I was trying to get them published were not really being received or not being heard for whatever reason. I don't really know. But I know that it took quite a few years of sending my manuscripts back and forth before eventually I found a very good publisher. And really since then there has not been any problem. I think for many writers it's the breakthrough that's the difficulty. It's that sort of getting accepted somewhere or getting a book published somewhere. It seems to me there's a lot more published now in the kind of subjects that I'm writing about than there was at the time when I was writing. So in a sense, the resistance was also to do with who's going to read this. Well, now there is a readership, which is not a narrow readership. There's a readership so even in the UK, but across the world, for people who want to understand more about this phenomenon of displaced people moving from one place to another and so on. So I think there is now quite an obvious readership for this material. I don't think a writer should be neutral in what he or she writes. You're not writing scholarship. You're not writing something that is like a testimony to a court or something like that. You're writing how you see things. You're writing about how you are engaging with the questions that you yourself raise. So I think the closer to a truthful understanding of your position, the better, which may not necessarily be neutral at all. In fact, by definition, it would not be neutral. I would probably say it's that mixture of stories that, for example, the Alf Lela Lela, perhaps stories from of the Prophet and his companions, perhaps stories from the Quran, etc. I don't think you will find many people in Tanzania or in Zanzibar who know very much about particular writers in the Arabic literature canon, as it were. But they would know some of the same stories. It's truer to say that, I think, than that Islam has played a big part, and the stories that are part of Islamic culture are also, therefore, are part of our culture. If I could read in other languages, I might say maybe translation loses something. I should think not. I suspect, actually, sometimes translators probably improve the book. I don't know, because they maybe have more time to think about what's going on and think of better ways of putting it or something like that. But maybe translators are more, also more, what should I say, they're concerned to get to what was there rather than doing anything better. But it'd be hard, I would have thought, to resist if you're a translator, seeing that sentence doesn't really work like that. Maybe I'll fix it a bit or something like that. But I wouldn't know. I'm sure that they all know what they're doing, so I trust them. It's like you get trapped. You know? You get trapped into this. You have to keep doing it once you start. You know? It's like training. You know? You have to keep doing it. And then, of course, the pleasure is in being able to continue to do it and being productive, and also the reception that you get. It's the encouragement that you receive from people who read you. Well, I've enjoyed it so far. I've been very impressed with the book fair, but I've also enjoyed just being here, and the welcome I've received has been tremendous. But I've been very impressed with what the book fair and the book fair authority as well does. Not just the event itself, but all the other support events and the various projects and so on, the scholarships, etc. So I think it's a very good thing.